After a misunderstanding with his sister, I apologized. She told my husband I'd threatened her. He believed her. His mother called me unstable and took my keys. When I tried to leave, my car was gone. The next morning, a police officer came with a restraining order, filed with my own address as the. I'd been married to Eric for 9 years. We met at a hardware store in Peoria, Illinois, where I was working at the time. He came in needing help finding a part for his dad's old sink. We clicked right away. I thought he was kind. A little quiet, but thoughtful. I fell hard. We dated for a year and got married quick. Maybe too quick. Fast forward. We bought a house on the north side of town. I turned it into a home. I was working part-time at a local bakery and doing crafts on the side. Eric worked IT from home. Our lives were quiet, nothing crazy. Then Caitlin showed up. My younger sister. She and I used to be close when we were kids, but we've had a rough go of it since she turned 18. She lies. A lot. She plays victim when things don't go her way. But she's my sister. So when she called me crying after her boyfriend cheated and kicked her out, I told her to come stay with us. I let her in. I cleared out the guest room. I told her she could stay a few weeks, just long enough to get on her feet. At first, things were fine. She cried a lot, slept all day, barely talked. I made her meals. I checked in on her. She thanked me. I thought things were okay. Then, small things started happening. I noticed money missing from my purse. Not a lot, $20 here, $40 there. I asked her about it. She denied it. Then my debit card had a charge from an online store. I knew it wasn't me. It was a jewelry site. I confronted her, and she exploded. Screaming. Calling me jealous. Saying I always try to control her. That I act like I'm better than her. I told her I just wanted honesty. She accused me of trying to kick her out because I was threatened. We were yelling. I won't lie. It was loud. But I never threatened her. I never touched her. I told her she needed to move out by the weekend. I felt bad afterward. I brought her tea that night and apologized for yelling. I told her I just felt disrespected. She barely looked at me. Said nothing. Next morning, I woke up to cold silence from Eric. He wouldn't say good morning. Wouldn't look at me. I asked what was going on. He said, Caitlin told me everything. I asked what he meant. He said she told him I threatened her in the middle of the night. That I banged on her door and told her she was going to regret crossing me. That I'd screamed about ruining her life. I laughed. I actually laughed. I told him that was a lie, and I asked him to check the security camera footage. We had cameras installed in the hallway and entryway a year ago. He refused. He said, I'm tired of the gaslighting. Those words hit like a brick. I asked what he was talking about. He wouldn't answer. He walked away. About 30 minutes later, Marla, Eric's mom, showed up out of nowhere. She's never liked me. She thinks I'm too opinionated. That I emasculate her son. But she's never been this aggressive before. She barged in, didn't even say hi. Walked right up to me and said, you need help. Real help. You're not right in the head. Then she snatched my keys off the hook by the door. I asked what she was doing. She ignored me. I went looking for my purse, it was gone. I asked Eric where my car was. He wouldn't answer. Just stared past me. I went outside to look. It was gone. My car, titled in my name, was nowhere to be found. I asked Eric again. He just said, you're not going anywhere. Not like this. I called my friend Krista in tears. She offered to come get me, but I didn't want to leave my house. I thought if I just calmed down, this would blow over. That night, they locked the bedroom door. I slept on the couch, under a thin throw blanket, listening to whispers behind the door I used to call home. The next morning, I woke up to a knock at the door. It was a police officer. He said he had something for me and asked me to step outside. I did. He handed me a copy of a restraining order. Filed by Caitlin. It claimed I was unstable, violent, and made verbal threats while under emotional distress. The address on it was my house. I asked the officer how that could be. He said she'd claimed I was a danger to her and Eric. That the house was now considered their shared, safe residence. I said, "This is my home. That's my husband." He said, "Not anymore, ma'am. You're being asked to vacate immediately." I was allowed to grab a few bags. I grabbed clothes, a brush, my phone charger. Eric stood by the wall with his arms folded. Marla blocked the hallway. Caitlin stood behind her, fake crying into a tissue. As I walked out, I saw her smile. It wasn't big. Just a twitch at the corner of her mouth. She had planned this. I left the home I built with a duffel bag and my phone. My car was gone. My husband was gone. My sister was still in my house. Wearing my slippers. I stayed at Krista's that night. I couldn't sleep. That's when I remembered the security footage. And that's when I knew I wasn't crazy. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was war. I spent the first 2 nights at Krista's place. Her couch was stiff and small, but I didn't care. My hands kept shaking. I kept going over it in my head, trying to figure out what I missed. How long had they been planning this? Krista was furious. She kept telling me to go to the police, to fight back. But I didn't even know where to start. I had no car, no house, no husband, no proof. Until I remembered the hallway camera. Eric had installed it himself. It backed up to a cloud account we shared. He never changed the login. I still had it saved on my phone. So I checked. It took me a while to dig through the motion-activated clips, but I found it. The night Caitlin claimed I threatened her? The footage showed me walking down the hallway, holding the cup of tea. I knocked gently. No yelling. No threats. I said, "I'm sorry about earlier. I just want us to talk." She didn't even answer me. I stared at the screen, heart pounding. I downloaded the footage to my phone, then backed it up twice, one to email, one to a USB I had in my bag. It was proof. Real proof. I went to the police station with Krista. I showed them the footage. I told them everything, from the false accusation to the restraining order to being locked out of my house. The officer I spoke to, Officer Daniels, wasn't exactly warm, but he took the footage seriously. He said I should contact a lawyer immediately. I did that next. I called around until I found someone willing to take a quick consult, Maya Ross. She was sharp, direct, and had dealt with false claims in family cases before. I told her everything. When I told her my name wasn't on the house deed, just the car, she looked concerned. Apparently, Eric had put the house in his name only when we bought it. At the time, I didn't care. I trusted him. I didn't know how badly that would bite me later. But the footage changed things. Maya helped me file a countermotion. We challenged the restraining order with the video as evidence and included a request to press charges for filing a false report. Caitlin's claim that I'd made verbal threats was the core of the order, and the video blew that apart. While we waited for the court date, things kept getting worse. Eric drained our joint account. All of it. Krista was with me when I logged in to check the balance and saw it at $0. I had less than $300 in my personal savings. He left me with nothing. I called him. He didn't answer. I texted him, "I know what you did. I have the footage. I'm going to court." No response. But the next morning, I got a call from an unknown number. I didn't answer at first. Then it rang again. I picked up. It was Marla. She said, "You need to stop. You're making this worse for yourself." I asked her how she slept at night. She said, "I sleep just fine knowing my son is safe from your instability." I told her I had proof. That everything they did was going to come back on them. She laughed. "Sweetheart, no judge is going to believe you over family." Then she hung up. That was the moment it all clicked. This wasn't just Caitlin lying. This was a whole setup. Caitlin, Eric, and Marla had teamed up. And they had a plan from the beginning. Caitlin needed a place to stay. Eric was sick of the marriage but too cowardly to ask for a divorce. Marla hated me and wanted me gone. So they made me the villain. They knew a restraining order would force me out. They knew if they moved fast enough, they could isolate me from everything, bank account, house, even my car. And by the time I caught up, it'd be too late. But they made one mistake. They thought I'd stay quiet. About a week after I filed to overturn the restraining order, things took another turn. Krista got a message from someone named Danny through Facebook. Danny said she used to date Eric, years ago. She said she saw Krista's post online about what happened to me and felt like she needed to reach out. Krista called me into the room and showed me the message. My stomach dropped as I read it. I know Eric. I know what he's capable of. I've been in your friend's shoes. She's not crazy. He did similar things to me, gaslighting, lying, turning people against me. He's good at it. He knows how to look clean on paper and dirty behind your back. I got in touch with Danny. We met at a small diner outside town. She was older than me by about 10 years, soft-spoken but sharp. She didn't hesitate. She told me Eric had always been good at getting people to doubt themselves. He would tell her one thing, then swear he never said it. He'd twist arguments into her fault, then call her unstable. He isolated her from her friends and told her no one liked her. She finally left when he tried to get her fired from her job by making fake complaints. He doesn't explode, she told me. He erodes you. Bit by bit. It made too much sense. My hands were shaking again when I left the diner. Back at Krista's, I got a letter in the mail. It was from Eric's lawyer. They were filing for divorce. That wasn't the part that shocked me. It was the contents. Inside, they accused me of marital misconduct, emotional abuse, and financial dishonesty. They claimed I used Eric's money to support my sister and lied about my mental health. I almost laughed again. But I didn't. I just sat there, staring at the words, realizing they were doubling down on everything. They were trying to paint me as the dangerous one, so they could keep the house, the car, and justify stealing everything out from under me. And I knew Caitlin was behind it. I did some digging. I called my cousin Matt, who lives in Springfield. He's always kept a foot in both sides of the family, even with Caitlin. I asked him if he'd heard from her lately. He hesitated. Then said, "Yeah. She was here last weekend. With Eric." I asked him to repeat it. He said they drove in together. Stayed in a hotel. Told people they were trying to get away from drama. I felt physically sick. They were traveling together. Alone. I asked Matt, "Do you think they're?" He cut me off. "I'm not gonna say that." But it didn't look like they hated each other. It felt like the floor dropped out under me. I had taken Caitlin in. I defended her. I fed her, sheltered her. And now she was, what? With my husband? Behind my back? It was starting to make sense. The timing. The alliance. The lies. The restraining order. They weren't just teaming up. They were together. And then I remembered something worse. When we were still living together, I caught them once, months back, talking in the kitchen late at night. I came in, and they both jumped like I'd caught them stealing. I thought it was weird at the time, but I never asked. I should have. I felt like throwing up. I sent everything to Maya, my lawyer. The footage. Danny's testimony. The divorce filing. The Springfield connection. She told me we had enough to punch back hard. But we'd need one more thing. Proof of the relationship. I started watching. Not just from afar. I made fake social accounts. I tracked Caitlin's movements online. She wasn't private. She thought she was untouchable. She posted a picture. Not of Eric. But of a restaurant in St. Louis. A fancy one. 2 wine glasses. 1 plate partially in frame. I compared it with a picture Eric posted years ago, from the same place. The same table. Same booth. I lined them up. She was there. With him. They were traveling together. Sleeping together. While accusing me of being the threat. I sent it all to Maya. She went quiet for a bit. Then she said, "We're going to flip this entire thing. And we're starting with Caitlin." Maya moved fast. We filed an emergency motion to vacate the restraining order. The video footage, the false claims, the proof of Caitlin and Eric's relationship, all of it was submitted to the court. Maya also filed a separate claim for defamation, wrongful eviction, and emotional distress. The judge reviewed everything. We had a hearing scheduled within 2 weeks. I showed up in court with my head held high. I wore the same blouse I wore to my wedding, like a message to myself. I was done letting them tear me down. Eric showed up in a clean suit, Caitlin in a pale pink dress like she was the damn victim. Marla sat behind them like a proud vulture. But when the footage played, me standing calmly at Caitlin's door, offering tea, apologizing, everything cracked. When the judge saw the photo of Caitlin at that restaurant, sitting in the exact booth Eric had posted about before, he paused and raised an eyebrow. When Danny testified about her experience with Eric, and how he had a pattern of manipulating women to make himself look like the hero, you could feel the air shift. Maya stood up and said, "Your Honor, this wasn't a misunderstanding. This was a coordinated attack to isolate my client, steal her assets, and remove her from the home she helped build, all based on lies. And those lies are now falling apart under the weight of evidence." The judge didn't smile. But he looked directly at Eric and said, "I strongly suggest you reconsider your legal strategy, Mr. Bellamy." The restraining order was dropped that day. But it didn't end there. With the order gone, I was legally allowed back on the property. But I didn't go. Instead, we filed a civil lawsuit against Caitlin and Eric, jointly. For defamation, fraud, theft, emotional distress, and destruction of property. We also filed a motion for spousal support, compensation for the stolen joint funds, and a lien on the house until the divorce could be finalized. Maya tore them apart. Caitlin tried to backpedal, said she was coerced by Eric. Claimed she was afraid of me. But she had posted that stupid wineglass photo after I was gone. And the moment she posted a TikTok of her doing a dance in my living room with the caption "Fresh Start," it was over. We subpoenaed her phone records. She and Eric had been texting about me for weeks before the fight. Planning. Sharing stories. Laughing about it. They even joked about how easy it would be to make me look unhinged. When that came out, even Marla walked out of the courtroom. I don't think she knew how deep it went. Eric lost everything in court. The judge awarded me full ownership of the car and ordered him to return it immediately or face jail time. I got half the house value, he was forced to put it up for sale. I was also awarded $40,000 in damages, plus $1,800 a month in temporary spousal support. Caitlin? She was sued separately for defamation and false police reporting. She was ordered to pay $25,000 in damages and was put on probation for filing a false restraining order. she cried in court. For real this time. No smirks. But I wasn't done. I took the footage. The texts. The screenshots. The court rulings. And I sent them to Eric's employer. He lost his job. Turns out his company didn't want someone who conspired to file a false restraining order and drain a joint account behind someone's back. Caitlin's job found out too. She worked part-time as a nanny. That ended quickly. No one wants a liar around their kids. As for Marla, she tried to reach out after everything. Said she didn't know how far it had gone. That she was just trying to protect her son. I told her she could protect him all she wanted, but she wasn't going to be part of my life again. Now? I'm living in a small rental house near Krista. It's quiet. Peaceful. I've got a new job helping manage a bakery downtown. The same one I used to work at before I met Eric. I'm not perfect. I ignored red flags. I trusted people who didn't deserve it. I let my sister manipulate me. But I also fought back. I stood up. I burned every lie they built. And I walked away with my head up, not because I won, but because I refused to be the victim they needed me to be. The only thing left from that old life is my car. I drive it every day. And sometimes, when I look in the mirror, I think about how close I came to losing everything. And how damn proud I am that I didn't.